Hello, my dear students. Today we are starting another class basically for the B.Pharm students of final year who had opted for Pharma Marketing Management as an elective. I am Dr. Abhijit Majumdar, working as Professor and Director of Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology Pharmacy Institute, Greater Noida. And today we will be studying a very important concept and an activity which all of you who are opting for marketing as your career will come across. That is what we are calling as market research. In the last class, we have discussed about consumer behavior. If you recollect that I have told you that consumer behavior was a study by virtue of which we are getting a total insight of the consumers. That is, what the consumer prefers, what type of product they are wanting, what is the distribution channel they are preferring. That is, you are collecting a lot of information about your product from the consumers. Now, whenever we are talking of collection of data, the first and foremost thing which is coming up is what we are calling as market research. The term market research, that is, you are carrying out a complete survey research about a particular market, that is, in a layman's language, is what market research deals with. Let us see how American Marketing Association or AMA defines market research. Market research, you see, it is a systematic gathering, recording and analysis of data about problems related to the marketing of goods and services. So, there are three things. One, gathering of information. Number two, recording of information. And three, analysis of the data which you have collected. Now, the data which you are collecting basically relating to any problems pertaining to the goods and services which you are trying to market. That is how American Marketing Association or AMA views market research. So, just quickly reading it again. Market research is a systematic gathering, recording and analysis of data about problems related to the marketing of goods and services. Phillips Kotler, another legendary figure in the field of marketing, I hope all of you have heard his name. Market research is a systematic problem analysis, model building and fact finding for the purpose of improved decision making and control in the marketing of goods and services. See, objective is very simple. The final goal is the marketing of goods and services. Now, whenever we are going for marketing on goods and services, you need to collect information from various sources. It may be the customers, it may be the retailers, it may be the wholesalers. That is, you need to gather information from the various stakeholders, so that you are having an idea about the marketing of the goods and services which you are about to do. So, Phillips Kotler defined market research as the systematic problem analysis, model finding and fact finding for the purpose of improved decision making and control in the marketing of goods and services. Now, let us see why are we studying this topic today, or what is the importance of this particular topic. Now, when a business organization, it may be a pharmaceutical one, it may be an automobile one, it may be an electronics one, whatever it is, they face various problems relating to the marketing of their product. It may be related to price, promotion, packaging, branding and advertisement. It may be any particular segment of marketing. Now, whenever they are facing that problem, as I have told you at the very beginning, that marketing is a way to create a brand image by the process of customer satisfaction. So, in marketing, customer satisfaction is of utmost priority. The major importance of market research is, number one, it provides a very valuable data. It provides a very valuable data, and these data which it provides is very useful for the purpose of decision making. Number two, market research is a process by which we study about consumer behavior. We have discussed in the last class lot of activities about consumer behavior. Now, the data which is required comes from this market research. So, market research provides you information about the age, income, likes, dislikes of the consumers. Now, what will you do with this data? This data is helpful for supplying a feedback to the production team, so that they can prepare their product, they can modify an existing product as per that particular feedback. It is helpful for the R&D team for similar perspective. It is also useful for the marketing team to frame their marketing strategies. Therefore, market research will help you to provide information about age, income, likes, dislikes of the consumers. It includes all sorts of information, data which a consumer gives. Next, it helps to select a proper promotional technique. It will help you to guide which particular media to select, how much amount of money you would like to dedicate, you would like to give for advertisement, what should be the frequency of advertising, so that maximum number of customers they are taken care of, or in other words, we are in a position to make maximum number of customers aware of your product. Therefore, it helps you to provide a budget about advertisement and sales promotion. It also helps you to provide a massive information about the market situation. What do I mean by market situation? Market situation basically means, as I have told you, that sometimes the market inflates, sometimes it deflates. That is, there is a rise and fall in the sales of the product. If you carry out a market research about a particular product to see what is its yearly sales, you will get an idea that the sales volume fluctuates from one particular time of the year to the other. Say for example, if I am talking of pharmaceutical products, if I am marketing anti-amoebic drugs, the sales volume of anti-amoebic drugs will be very high, particularly during the monsoon, whereas it will be little bit lesser, particularly during the winter. So, the requirement of anti-amoebic drug in the market is maximum during the monsoon months. So, the production guy has to plan his schedule accordingly, that before the monsoon starts, the market should have a sufficient stock of anti-amoebic drugs. Otherwise, a stock out situation will result and the customer will shift to products of other companies. Now, whenever we are carrying out marketing research, there are two basic methods. One is called as a primary research and the other one is called as a secondary research. Primary research is one which you yourself is carrying out to generate the data. Primary research is one in which you yourself is carrying out to get a data. You are preparing a questionnaire. It may be an open-ended one, it may be a close-ended one. The basic difference between an open and close-ended one is, in close-ended one, we are giving the choices and the customer has to select from those opted choices only. Say for example, to a particular question you are giving 4 choices, A, B, C and D. The customer has to select any one of these 4. That is the reason why we are calling it as a closed-ended questionnaire, because the customer does not have any option but to select any one of the 4 choices given. On the other hand, open-ended questionnaire means the term open. Open means customers are free to provide a feedback, are free to express their opinion about a question which you are asking. This is the fundamental difference between an open-ended and a closed-ended questionnaire. Now, whatever the question you are framing, in fact, what we do is we are mixing both closed and open-ended questionnaire. Both we generally keep. Now, whenever you are gathering information with the help of this questionnaire, we are calling it to be as a primary research. You are going to a group of people taking their interview. That also is an example of primary research. You are not taking an interview, just you are silently observing what the customer do, how the customer behave. You will be very astonished to know that just by observing the dustbin of your house, a marketing individual can predict what is your food habit, what are your preferences, because the packet which you dump up will give them an idea about the food habit, the consumption habit, what is your likings, what are the dislikings, everything. This is what we are calling as observation. Sometimes we conduct experiments also, where we are giving a particular treatment to a group of individuals whom we are calling as the experimental group, and the other one where we are not giving in treatment, we are telling them to be as a control group. And we measure the change in the attitudes, we measure the changes in the response after giving this particular treatment and without treatment, and then we measure what is the effect of the treatment given. and this analysis has to be done statistically. This is what we are calling as experimentation. Now, see, the data which you are gathering yourself, either by observation, experimentation, interview, survey, whatever it is, they are all coming under primary research. What is secondary research? Secondary research is one where the data is already published. They are basically done by others. They are done by others. All published information in the journal, website, books, they are all secondary data. So, primary data is because you yourself are collecting, so it is much more authentic, much more reliable as compared to that of a secondary data. These are the various steps of marketing research. One, defining the problems, then develop a research plan, gathering of information, analysis of information, and then presenting in the form of pie chart, bar diagram, the way you want to show the main salient findings of your research. Now, I will be going on to those details a little bit later on. Now, as far as market research is concerned, one we are having as problem identification research, another one problem solving research. Problem identification research mainly includes market potential research, market share research, market characteristics research, sales analysis research, forecasting research, and business trend research. On the other hand, whenever you are identifying the problem, you need to solve it out. Therefore, as far as problem solving research is concerned, segmentation research, product research, pricing research, promotion research, distribution research, basically the 4 P's of marketing what we studied earlier. Now, we are first discussing about problem solving research, that will be followed by problem identification research. Whenever we are talking of segmentation research, determine the basis of segmentation. See, you are trying to identify, you are wanting to solve a particular problem. So, first of all, you need to see whether the segmentation has been proper or not. So, determine the basis of segmentation, establish the market potential and responsiveness for various segments, select the target market where the problem has taken place, create a lifestyle profile in terms of demography, media, product mix and characteristics and so on. Next problem solving research is as far as product is concerned. We have to see whether the concept was proper. So, we need to test the concept, determine optimal product design, go for testing for packages. We may go for product modification. We have to see whether brand positioning and repositioning was correct or not, go for test marketing and control store test. Now, you see and the third approach is the pricing research, product, price, place, promotion. So, third approach is pricing research, where we have to see whether the policies for pricing was correct or not, importance of price in brand selection, product line pricing, price elasticity of demand. When the demand is high, we can go for higher price. When the demand is low, automatically the price has to be lower down. The price also fluctuates depending on the market scenario, inflating and response to price changes. Sometimes we have to go for price cut, depending on in which particular phase of life cycle, which we are calling as the product life cycle, the product is there. Next is promotional research, optimal promotional budget, sales promotion relationship, optimum promotional mix, copy decision, media decision, creative advertisement decision and evaluation of advertisement effectiveness. All these are coming under problem solving research. Next is distribution research. We have to see whether the types of distribution was proper, attitudes of the channel member, intensity of wholesale and retail coverage, channel margin and location of retail wholesale outlets. That is, all attributes pertaining to the distribution system has to be taken care of in the distribution research. So, market research, we are having a consumer group, it may be a direct consumer, it may be an employees, shareholders and suppliers. Marketing manager, they need to mainly focus on market segmentation, target market selection, various marketing programs which we carry out, when we have to see the performance and control. And there are two types of situation. One is a controllable marketing variable and the other one is the uncontrollable environmental variable. In the same angle which we studied earlier, macro environmental factor which affect the organization, already I have discussed with you in the past. Controllable factors, product which you can decide, price which we can decide, promotion we can decide, distribution we can decide. So, these factors are within our control. On the other hand, the uncontrollable factor, economy, you do not have any role to play. Next is technology, advancement of technology, that also you do not have any role to play. Laws, social factors and political factors, these are the factors where hardly a marketing company has any role to establish. Now, let us come to the main important area, what we are calling as the steps of market research. The first step is you need to define the problems. You need to define the problems. The problem definition in specific term must precede the determination of the purpose of research. So, depending on the purpose of research, you have to give a definition. Once you are, say for example, you are carrying out the laboratory experiments, you are writing aims of the experiment, right? Exactly in the same way. Now, problem definition in specific terms must precede the determination of the purpose of research. It should say what is the main goals of the research. This is the main important functions. In order to define the problem more precisely, some sort of exploratory research can be undertaken. The methods popularly used include the survey of secondary data or pilot studies or data done in the past, literature review. After clarifying and identifying the research problems, the researcher must take a formal statement of the objective. First is you have to define, understand the problem, then you define a problem statement. The research objectives may be stated in both qualitative or quantitative terms and expressed as the research questions or hypothesis. Next, you have to develop the research plan, that is how you have to collect. The research plan is a master plan specifying the procedure for collecting and analysis of the needed data. That can be done in data resources, research approach, research instrument, sampling plan and contact method. These are the main functions of the research plan. We are going to the third method. After the research plan has been set up, you need to collect the data. This is the most expensive stage, where you have to collect the data, gather the data. It may be gathered by interviewing, observing, floating questionnaires, experimentation done by people and machines. Unfortunately, this step is the weakest link. The problem for this particular step is we are not getting a good respondent, and they are basically untrained people. So, the chances of error sometimes is high if you yourself are not involved in the data collection. So, you need to be very careful in this particular step. The people who collect data, they must be contacted again. Sometimes the respondents do not cooperate. They give biased and dishonest answers. It is equally difficult to motivate the data collectors because we are paying a very minute amount to them. Largely part-time workers doing a monotonous job, so they get bored, they are not collecting the data properly. They require proper training, incentive and supervision for good data collection. Next, you have to analyze the data. The analysis of data is done mainly by the software nowadays. They do the analysis, they sometimes prepare the presentation report also. Analysis of data provides general estimates where interpretation has to be very specific and precise. And depending on the interpretation, you will have to give the proper suggestion. The next step is present the findings. Now, these findings, they are generally presented in the form of a research report. It is an effective tool used to present the research findings. In fact, it will give a very clear cut idea about how much skills you have or what is the quality of the researchers. It can be in the form of written form, it can be in the oral form or both. Sometimes we are going for bar diagram, chart diagram, line chart, pie chart, bar chart, pictogram. That is graphically we try to represent because that looks very attractive. A well presented report indicates the confidence level of the researchers. Marketing information system is a continuing interacting structure of people, equipment, procedures to gather, sort, analyze information required for the decision makers to improve their market planning and implementation and control. The features of marketing information system include the continuous process, where we go on collecting data. The basic objective is to provide the right information at the right time at the right place to take a proper decision. Generally, computers are involved, so it is the computer based system. Provide information to solve future problems, and it is used by all levels of management, whether it is the top, lower or the middle level. Roles of MIS in decision making: to provide efficiency in company operation, to collect information about the needs of the customer, to provide information helpful for decision making, analyze marketing information gathered from internal and external source of organization. It helps to recognize the trend, facilitates proper marketing control. Now, research, as I have told you, may be qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative, we are just gathering the features, where in quantitative we are more stressing on the numbers, numerical values. Qualitative research generally done by observation, quantitative mainly done by experimentation. The purpose of qualitative research is to have an understanding of the process, whereas in case of quantitative research we are predicting something. Qualitative one much more flexible, quantitative much more structured, much more rigid. In qualitative one, automatically the sample size is smaller, whereas in quantitative research the sample size is pretty large. Qualitative research, where it is mainly open ended, interview type, whereas in quantitative research mainly we go for questionnaires. These are the various parts of the marketing information system what we go for. Now, the various pharmaceutical market research area what we carry out is pertaining to the retail pharmacy process, where we are going for purchase of the various drugs, whether it is a prescription drug or it is a non-prescription drugs. We also do survey on the hospital purchases. We sometimes carry out warehouse withdrawals, the rate at which the products are being drawn from the warehouse. Research are going on the OTC as well as for prescription, non-prescription drugs also. Sometimes we do market research to get an idea about the retail pharmacy prescriptions, to have an idea about the retail pharmacy sales. We gather data about from the physician panels to get an idea about the diagnostics, patient compliance, the drugs commonly recommended. We do survey on promotional media research just to monitor the detailing of the visit of the physician for the sales representative to see whether the effect of sales promotion on journal is proper or not. And with this, we are coming to the end of the class on market research today. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.